What's going on? It's your boy Bowie here. And I have a public service announcement to make. Sean P-Diddy Combs should be in fucking jail. He should be underneath the jail. Why? Well, for one, he's a repugnant piece of shit. For one, who screws over his artists, virtually all of his artists, which is par for the course in, the record business. But for two, he's a violent abuser that rapes teenage girls and forces them to take drugs, coerces them into having sex with men that they don't know. And he has a whole network of executives and employees that all do what he wants them to do. Not to mention, he's actually dangerous. He's very dangerous, and I'll explain why. So, what am I talking about here? So, in case you've been living under a rock, the R&B singer Cassie released a set of scathing allegations at P-Diddy this past weekend. And she took the case to court, and P-Diddy settled within a 24-hour period. It wasn't even a day later, he settled it out of court with her. Now, just looking at that alone, in addition to looking at the time frame in which they were together and all this kind of stuff, it led many people to say, oh, why did she wait so long? She's been away from him for a long time. The bread done dried up, so it looked like she just looking for a lick real quick and wanted to sue him to get some money. Well, the problem with that is we have court documents. We have court documents that detail exactly the reasons why she sued him. Those documents lay out in great detail what she's alleging, the gory details of what happened and when, including the ages and the extent to which things occurred. And these are available for public record. And frankly, the vast majority of people that weighed in on this matter haven't done the due diligence of looking at the court documents. And I myself, I was in that same camp. I didn't look at the court documents. I didn't realize they were out. But a YouTuber, a lawyer by the name of Wine and Chill, who, she's a lawyer. She did look at the court case, and she broke down exactly what was in it and showed in painful detail the extent of what Cassie alleged. So, for one, Cassie was I ain't gonna say discovered, but P. Diddy sought after Cassie when she was 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? And signed her to Bad Boy in like 2006. Now, that's par for the course, Lots of young women get signed by male executives to record labels all the time. But when they get signed, they typically get signed to 3, 4, or 5 album deals and stuff like that. Cassie got signed to a 10 album deal. 10 albums. Do you know how many albums that is? Do you know how long of a time period that could cover? The vast majority of R&B artists, they don't have 10 albums. Half of them don't even have 5. Their career's over by then. You know what I'm saying? So for her to be signed to a 10 album deal means that she couldn't go nowhere. He was going to try to lock that ass down, you know. And let's be clear, she was not just some plus one of his that had free will and she had her own sense of autonomy. She was his employee. She signed to him. Also, she was 19 years old and he was 37. So he's damn near double her age. You know what I'm saying? He was about her age when she was born. And that says that right there, that dynamic alone is deeply problematic. Because, you know, for starters, anytime you have a man, a much older man going after a younger woman, it doesn't matter whether he's a good guy or not. It creates an inherent power dynamic that is stilted in his favor, especially if he has money. We've seen the sugar daddy scenarios where you got these young, attractive women going out with these older guys that, you know, maybe all they have is money. And because she knows he has money and he knows he has money, he can get her to do whatever he wants her to do. But typically, at least in those relationships, there's not violence, even though there's an inherent power struggle and a power imbalance. You know what I'm saying? It's a red flag when a man can't seem to date a woman his own age. That's a huge red flag. And so for any young women out here that could potentially be watching this, do not date somebody that's over 5 years your age. Honestly, if he's older than 3 years your age, that's probably about the upper limit of what I would suggest as feasible. Because at 4+ years of, you know, extra experience, that man might be trying to game you. He might be trying to control you. And he can use the age difference to, you know, more easily coerce you into doing things that he wants you to do that you wouldn't typically do, or things that you wouldn't do if you and he were the same age. You know what I'm saying? And this is some of the things that men use. And mind you, these men aren't CEOs of Bad Boy Records. You know what I'm saying? These might just be regular men of means or whatever. They might just be any guy. Even if the dude is broke. You know, you'll hear about these high school seniors going out with these freshmen, or even worse, middle school students. And that's an inherent power dynamic too, even though he ain't got no money. So young ladies, stay away from these older dudes. Stay away from their ass. All right. They have no business dating people drastically younger than them. And they're only doing so either because they lack maturity or they're trying to exert excessive control over the women that they want to lord over. So anyway, so Cassie was in that situation with a much older man who happened to be her boss. So for people saying, oh, why didn't she come out with this before? This is her goddamn boss, who she's locked in a 10 album deal with. Okay. She's still she's not employed with him under him now, but they were together for around 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And so this premise of, oh, she should have just tried to, she should have broke out and did blah, 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 blah. What was she going to do when he's her current employer and she's locked in that deal with him? Not to mention, he had a whole network of people that would help him exert his control over her. So, for one, he would be very abusive. He would be very violent. And not just with her. I've heard of instances of P-Diddy slapping Drake. We know that happened because there were witnesses. J. Cole talked about getting into a scuffle with P-Diddy on his last album. Puff Daddy does this. He has a little bit of a hothead, violent streak with people. And it's not surprising that he would do that with a woman, especially a woman the age of Cassie that ain't really never experienced a relationship before like that. Someone that, you know, he's under her, or he's exerting direct control over her. You know what I'm saying? So throughout the court documents, it details, you know, that he had left her with blackened eyes, busted lips. There were all kinds of hospital visits, you know, all kinds of abuse. There was alleged details of her being stomped out by him, like literally stomped out, punched in the sides of the head, and kicked on the ground. You know what I'm saying? He was beating the hell out of that girl, according to these documents. And he should be in prison for that alone. That's enough right there to put him in jail for at least a decade. Frankly, if not longer. But then he coerced her into doing drugs, specifically ecstasy. And I don't know if alcohol was involved, but I will presume that there was alcohol involved as well. And how would he do that? Well, he's her boss. And when you're signed to a record label and you have an album coming out, you have to promote that album per your contract. And what would happen is during these promotion events, you know, he would use the guise of legitimate promotional events to lure her into these situations where she would then be coerced to take drugs. And again, this is P. Diddy, one of the most powerful music executives anywhere. Ooh, that was sexy as hell. Shit. The reflex of what I was doing with Cage. So he's allowed to do these things. He's allowed to use legitimate means of doing illegitimate things with this woman, where she has to. And really, I don't even feel comfortable calling her a woman, because at the age of 19 and 20 and 21, yes, legally she's a woman, but kids don't stop developing mentally until the age of 25. So in other words, she's still very much a girl. She's not too far removed from the students in my class at that point. This is a girl dealing with a grown-ass man that knows what he's doing, that is exerting power and influence over her, and who happens to be her boss and boyfriend at the same time. You know what I'm saying? He should be in jail for that shit too. Because then in conjunction with getting her to use drugs, he would have sex with her when she was high. That constitutes as rape, motherfuckers. Also, he would coerce her to have sex with strange men, male prostitutes, when she really didn't want to. He would sit there and watch, and he would apparently masturbate to the shit in events that he would call freak-offs. And he would record the film and all this kind of stuff. So he was doing some R. Kelly shit. You know? And there's so much that I'm probably leaving out. I don't want to get into all the gory details. Frankly, you need to read the court case. To be honest with you, y'all need to read the court documents, because it lays it out pretty clear. And one of the crazy things about this particular set of documents is that it has a trigger warning on it. Like right on the front page, there's red text that says trigger warning, which is like mad unusual. But it should serve to stand to reason. Like, if they saw fit to put trigger warning on these documents, it should tell you that the details that are within them are vile. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the boy Diddy, he would sit there and send her to the hospital for injuries that he caused, right? And then he would get her damn x-rays and medical documents sent to his email. That's a violation of HIPAA. Only the patient is supposed to be receiving access to their own medical records. Patients and their spouses. Yet somehow he was getting his hands on them, and he's not her husband. But are you about to sit there and tell P-Diddy, Sean P. Diddy Combs, hey, you can't have access to this? Are you about to sit there and tell them that? No, you won't. And he probably name dropped or use his power to coerce executives at the hospital, or maybe not even executives, maybe employees. He might have just bribed them. Hey, you want to make 5 G's? Send me them papers. That's all it would take, you know? But probably, so again, that's another reason he should be in jail. But probably one of the most disturbing things, even aside from all the sexual abuse and the coercion, is the fact that P. Diddy is actually legitimately dangerous. So a crazy detail that was placed in the court document was that, you know, during I forgot to mention, he would kidnap her and coerce her to coming back with him. He would put her up in hotel rooms to recover from getting her ass beat and shit like that. And she wouldn't be allowed to go anywhere. She would try to run away from him, try to, you know, lose sight of him. P. Diddy would have his people track her down and coerce her to come back to talking with him, basically threatening her music career if she didn't do it, saying her album wouldn't come out or her single wouldn't be promoted if she didn't come back and do business with Diddy. And it wouldn't even be Diddy himself. It would be other executives and employees and things that would do the dirt for him. Probably people that he's paying very handsomely to do so, you know. Or even the unwitting staff that doesn't necessarily want to be a part of this, but Hey, babe, I'm recording a video right now. Sorry. Yeah, so unwitting staff that they don't necessarily want to be a part of this, but how do you say no when your boss is P. Diddy and he can make / break your career? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you do that? If you're an employee, this is your first big gig in the music business, and you trying to make sure that, you know, you working at Bad Boy leads to you successfully entering the music career. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not even just Cassie that's being victimized here. You have, you know, indirect victims that happen to be employees of his. But anyway, probably the last detail is, you know, during a rough patch, which their whole relationship was a rough patch, but during a separation between Cassie and P. Diddy, Cassie started going out with another musical artist, Kid Cudi. And once P. Diddy found out about this, he threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car. Like, literally explode the fucking car. And he did it. Kid Cudi came out and confirmed that this happened. So, you know how, you know, like in the mob movies where, you know, you have some, you know, defendant in a court case, you know, before they can testify against the mob boss or whatever, they ignite the car and then boom, and it blows up and stuff like that. What P. Diddy did was very similar to that. It doesn't appear as though anyone was hurt. He wasn't trying to kill someone that would start the car, but the fact that he could get people to blow up somebody's car because they were going out with what he perceived to be his girlfriend and his property, that's mind-boggling. He should be in jail for that too, because he could have killed people. That could have been a massive execution of multiple innocent people. Because if, you know, once an explosion occurs, you can't control what happens afterwards. You know what I'm saying? If there are other cars nearby, that car could have detonated others, and now suddenly you have a chain of explosions that causes a house to catch on fire, and then you have innocent lives being lost, all because you jealous. Because you want to continue the abuse, and she don't want you to do it. So he should be in prison for that too. All in all, P. Diddy is two pieces of shit. Actually, that's an insult to pieces of shit. He's worse than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's every bit as bad as Harvey Weinstein, you know, Robert Kelly, Bill Cosby. All them niggas. He's just as bad as them. Plus every other creepy motherfucker that doesn't use their power to make women do what they want them to do. And them fools lost their careers. Some of them are behind bars. All of them should be, frankly. But P. Diddy belongs amongst their ranks. Definitely. He should definitely be behind bars for all of that. Not to mention all the artists he done screwed over. You know, not to mention all the bullshit that he's tied up in music-wise. that we don't know about. He should be in jail. And part of what bothers me about a lot of this is you have a cacophony of males out there that they can't even bring themselves to proclaim that Diddy's innocent of this. You know, they believe the allegations, or rather, they can't deny the allegations, but they still find a reason to be upset at Cassie. Mad that, you know, she waited 10 years or whatever, waited so long to say something. Fucking Slim Thug even had the nerve to get on a goddamn video and say that there should be a statute of limitations of how long you have to report something. I'm like, are you for real? There's no expiration date on justice, bro. There's no expiration date on shit like that. If you did something wrong yesterday, you gotta pay for that. Whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, next decade, you gotta pay for that. And I'm not talking about no accident. I'm talking about some purposeful wrong shit. You gotta pay for that. And there's no statute of limitations on that. You understand what I'm saying? Because going by that logic, white people shouldn't have to, you know, do any kind of reparations for black people for the terrible shit that we endured under slavery in this country. Statute of limitations is up. This happened, you know, decades and centuries ago. Why are we still being made to pay for that? Because you never made things right. You never fully fixed it. You never fully made things right. And we're still dealing with the effects every day. That's why. And there's no statute of limitations on justice. There's no expiration date on accountability. That's a comment that I heard this morning that I thought was perfect. Damn. But why am I talking about this? Well, for one, because it's my channel. And on this channel, we don't defend bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I do not defend bullshit. I defend the vulnerable. And though my platform may be small, I'm going to use my platform responsibly to defend those that, you know, have been done wrong. I don't care who they may be. You know. That's one. Two, a large portion of my audience is male. And as males, we need to recognize the kind of harm that other males inflict upon young women. We need to recognize it. And unfortunately, we don't do a good job of listening to women when they tell us about the pain that they endure. So we have to hear it from other men, other males, if you will. Because some dudes won't listen to nothing unless it comes from a man. And that's unfortunate and ridiculous, but it's true. Also, if they're sympathizers of P-Diddy and other powerful figures in my audience, I want to use this moment to tell you that you motherfucking tripping. You lost your damn mind. If you're going to find a reason to be upset at these female victims over these terrible ass male abusers. when these things happen. That's just like them people running around talking about some free Tory Lanez in the Megan situation. The dude shot her. It doesn't matter what the context was. What the fuck is you doing shooting at a woman for with an actual gun? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? And why would anyone proclaim his innocence and try to be a character witness for him? That's the even bigger question. Like, what's that about? Well, I could have won right there. Like, why would you do that? And so, to those would-be Tory supporters and would-be P-Diddy supporters out there, you must be admonished. Because you're wrong. Straight up and down. And a lot of these dudes, it's not even just the people in my audience, it's dudes in general, whether they be on the internet or in real life. You know, a lot of these dudes use their resentment and bitterness towards women to downplay any instances of wrongdoing done against them. And they try to justify instances of inexplicably wrong things done towards women. It doesn't matter what the hell happens to them. They're going to try to find a way to justify it or explain it or downplay it or make it seem like, oh, it's the woman's fault that this happened to her. And it's either because they've had negative experiences with women or they can't get what they want out of women. One of the two. That's one of the two reasons that they do this. And it's trash. It's garbage. It's garbage. It's garbage as hell. And so, dudes that believe in that kind of thing, you need to be told that you're dead fucking wrong. And really, you should be in jail with P-Diddy too, to be honest with you, if you want my real opinion. Because you probably gonna either enable a motherfucker to do some harm, or you gonna be the next motherfucker doing some harm to some woman that didn't deserve it. And it don't matter if you think they deserved it or not. You still don't need to be harming no woman, period. If you're mad at her, if she pissed you off and you feel resentful, leave. Leave. Get another one. Go to therapy. Talk to somebody. Do something, motherfucker. Don't sit here and be some bitter ass, bitch ass male. Because then you might turn into Drake. Or you might turn into P. Diddy and be beating up women. Because I want to see P. Diddy try to do that shit to 50. 50 be out here, has been trolling that nigga for years. Why he don't put his hands on 50 Cent? Because you know what the fuck will happen to him. That's why. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, P. Diddy should be in jail. He was already slimy and greasy from my perspective. But now he's a criminal too. Like, he's a criminal of the worst kind. And so you shouldn't support him. I won't support him. I won't be doing anything with him. You know, I ain't supporting shit that motherfucker has to do or say. Nothing. His legacy is tarnished. For me, garbage, useless. His artists are amazing, Their legacy has nothing to do with him because they were great without him. He didn't give them their talent. All he did was give them a platform. But him, trash. Absolute garbage. He should be under the motherfucking jail. Absolutely under the jail. Alright. But with that being said, this will conclude this video. Hopefully I'll see y'all on some more positive energy. Peace.